Hi everyone, thanks for coming back for part 4. In my last video, I was just going over this table right here, which contains the word Pentecost in ELS form, and it's actually coming up in Exodus 19, which is the exact location in the Bible where it talks about the very first Pentecost, or the very first Shavuot, which was 50 days after the Israelites had exited Egypt, and when Moses had gone up on Mount Sinai, and the smoke of Jehovah, or the fire of Jehovah, descended upon the mountain, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And this is when Moses received the Ten Commandments, which is believed to be the day of Shavuot. And this is a parallel to Pentecost, when the apostles were in the upper room, and this was 50 days after first fruits, after Easter, and 10 days after Jesus ascended into heaven, and he told them to wait for the Holy Spirit to come down upon them. And they were in the upper room, and the Holy Spirit came down as tongues of fires. This was a direct parallel to what happened on Mount Sinai in the Exodus, in Exodus 19. And what I wanted to do is I just wanted to show you in the Blue Letter Bible how it explains that this is in the 3rd month, and I had actually made a mistake and said that was the month of Nisan in the previous video, but the 3rd month is actually the month of Sivan, and this is when Shavuot is celebrated on the Hebrew calendar. And in the matrix is from verses 13 through 18. So I'll just read the matrix, and then I'll show you how it's just before Moses received the 10 Commandments after I finish reading this matrix. But I'll start over here with verse 13, and it says, "No hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man. He shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their garments. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the 3rd day. Come not near a woman. And it came to pass on the 3rd day, when it was morning, that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of a trumpet exceeding loud, and all the people that were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount, and Mount Sinai, the whole of it, smoked, because Jehovah descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly." And I just think it's really amazing how the word Pentecost is coming up in ELS form in this exact location where the very first Pentecost, the very first Shavuot in Exodus 19 took place. And when you look at the Blue Letter Bible and you continue to read, you'll see that this was just before Moses received the 10 Commandments, because when you get to Exodus 20, this is when God began giving Moses the 10 Commandments, as you see right here. It says, "And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me." and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but in the seventh day it is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed it and stood far off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And I'll just stop reading there, but as you can see, this was just before Moses received the 10 Commandments, which is the day that is believed to be Shavuot or Pentecost. And that's exactly where Pentecost, and even though it's broken down into 2 parts, this is exactly where it came up when you put in the word Pentecost and the word trump and the word last. That's exactly where it takes you. So I think there's no chance that that can be random. The chances of that happening randomly out of the whole entire Bible for it to pull up this matrix is beyond any chance of probability. So once again, the hand of God is proven in these codes, that these ELS terms were encoded by God. There's no other explanation for that. And I have some other tables on Pentecost. In the original one, I had just put in the word trump. I believe this was a different matrix, which I wanted to talk about this as well, because in this one I had just put in the words Pentecost and trump, and I recognized this matrix from my Donald Trump table. And this is when I had put in the word Obama just after that. But as you can see, for some reason it's not pulling up. But I'm going to pull up that table so you can see that it's the same table. So I'm just going to pause it for just a second. Okay, here's one of the tables that I had done in my Donald Trump video, where I had put in the words Don, Trump, Obama, headshot, dead, rise, beast, 1C. And all those terms came up. And as you can see, it's coming up in Genesis 35. And it has the word Trump encoded in ELS right here. And then the word Obama comes up in the lavender, and Trump is in the pink here. And they kind of mesh in together. And I had done a video about that. And for some reason, when I'm doing this one here, oh, this is coming up in Genesis 27 and Genesis 28, but it looks almost exactly like the other one. That's why I thought it was the same. As you can see here, they both have the terms be fruitful and multiply right behind the word Trump. You can see that in the other one as well. It says make thee fruitful and multiply. And that's why I thought they were in the same matrix. So it's interesting that it has the word trump in that same verse in both of these tables, but they're apparently two different matrices. But I do have some other tables on Pentecost. The first one that came up was this one, and then when I added the word last, it came up in the one in Exodus 19, which I just talked about. And then when I added the word silver, it brought up yet another matrix, and this one is coming up in Kings 12:11. So this is another matrix with the word Pentecost in it, and this time it's coming up in the plain text. The first part, Pente, is coming up in the plain text, and then you see cost over here in the pink in ELS form. But the most amazing one is the one that came up in Exodus 19, and it looks like this is yet another one here. So let me see what this pulls up. Okay, this is yet another matrix, and this one does have both the names Trump and Obama as well, and it's coming up in Numbers 31. And I'm not sure if I included this table in the Donald Trump video or not, but this one I put in different terms because I put in the words Pentecost, and I also put in the word Natan and Eden and near death, because this time I wasn't really looking for Trump. That was just a word I was searching. I was searching for the last Trump, and I just thought I would put in Obama since it came up in the Donald Trump tables. And sure enough, it came up in this one as well. But this one also has the words Natan, Eden, and near death. And so I'm just going to try to quickly read off the terms. You see Obama here in the pink at the top, and in the yellow here you see the word near, and it looks like it's sharing this E, which is the word Eden. And then you see the second part of Pentecost here in the bluish purple. You see the word cost. And then over here in the dark green you see the word death. And then trump is part of the word trumpets in the plain text. And then you see the name Natan here in the light blue. And then you see Pente, which is the first part of Pentecost, over here at the bottom in the lavender. And I think that's probably all of the Pentecost tables. And I guess I'll just show this one to you real quick. This is just something I just tried to do just to see what would happen. I tried putting in the words finish line, bride, Passover, death, star, moon, and sun. And as you can see, the word bride comes up here in the lavender, coming at an angle. You see the word star coming up in the yellow at an angle this way. You see over in the light blue, you see pass in the bluish purple meshed in with the word over. You see the word sun in the burgundy. You see finish in the plain text in the light red. You see line. It's all on the same line with finish in the pink. And then you see moon over here in the dark green. And death in the light green. And oddly enough, this comes up in Revelation 11, exactly where you would expect the finish line to be, because if you see how it reads here at the end, well, I'm about out of time, so I can't really read it, so I'll read the matrix in the next video. Thanks.